The Lord's Prayer isn't talked about much online. I want it played before every episode, and I'm not forcing any religion on anyone. Thank you, God. And now here's my mom and saying the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
This is Standing Strong. Let's chat with Waylon. Join Waylon as he interviews people around the world with a variety of topics surrounding everyday struggles and bringing trustworthy communication to his guest. It's time we have more positivity and kindness in the world. He has had family, friends, actors, fitness experts, and the legendary ring announcer of WWE, Lillian Garcia. He can't wait to bring more inspiring episodes your way. Welcome to Standing Strong. Let's chat with Waylon.
Welcome, everyone, to the 57th episode of Standing Strong. I'm so glad this show is back and inspiring you. Standing Strong, Let's Chat with Waylon is here to change at least one person's life. Don't let someone stop you from doing what you love. They don't define you. You define yourself. And now here's Steve introducing my next guest.
Adrian Quinonez is an actor known for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in 2013, Barry in 2018, and 911 in 2023. He has been in popular shows like The Last Thing He Told Me, Days of Our Lives, CSI New York, The Bold and the Beautiful, iCary, The Young and The Restless, Jane the Virgin, Bones, and many more. He is such an inspiring man and is also known from the Dhar Mann YouTube Series. It's Waylon's great pleasure to welcome Adrian Quinonez on Standing Strong.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Standing Strong. Thank you so much, Steve, for the introduction of our next guest, Adrian. What's up, Adrian?
How you doing? That's a great introduction.
Yes, it was. I'm doing all right. How was your Christmas?
It was good. It was very low-key. My daughter lives a little bit away from where we were, out of LA. And so I was doing quite a bit of driving, but otherwise it was pretty low-key and, good to just be with family. How about yours? How was yours?
Awesome. Mine was okay. I had my little nephew and my sister at the house. So them, my mom and I had a small Christmas dinner, so it was fun.
Nice.
So,
okay.
Yeah. By the way, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you so much. Now, at this time, can you let everyone know where they can find you on social media?
Yes. Mostly what I'm on is going to be Instagram, and that's going to be at Adrian Quinonez 41. And that's mostly the what you can find me on. You can find me on Facebook, although I'm not really on there that much, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
If you just do a word search, or a name search with my first and last name, you'll find me. And I don't have a TikTok yet, which I just did a show called Blended. Well, I did the show about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, and we're just now starting to release it on YouTube, and they want me to get a TikTok account, and I've kind of been late to the game on that, so I don't have one yet, but I'm be getting one.
All right. Well, there you go, everyone. If you want to get connected with Adrian, feel free to do so. And now I'm going to ask you the very first question.
Okay.
Who inspired you to become an actor?
I, you know, I would say that my stepfather kind of laid the ground for that. Well, no, I take it back. I mean, even when I was much younger, my uncle, who he's now since passed, he was into guitar, into art, and I had two uncles actually. One was really into fine arts, the other was into guitar and music and stuff like that. And my grandfather was a mariachi.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of with that, I that kind of laid the track for me to be able to explore my artistic sensibilities. Um, and from a very early age, I was just in love with art and drawing and painting. Um, so much so that I inevitably ended up going to college and getting a degree in fine arts. But I would say them three really did it. Um, and then my stepdad, when I was about 15, we all went to see Phantom of the Opera.
Uh-huh.
And that for me, to see, I don't know, the pageantry of the music, the soundtrack, the costumes, the wardrobe, the colors, the everything was so haunting and so beautiful. At the same time, the acting was spectacular. And so ever since then, I kind of just fell in love with emoting, making you feel a certain way whenever you go into a live theater, and I knew that I wanted to kind of seek that out, but I didn't know how. Coming from Texas, Texas is more known for like football and stuff like that, not
Right.
necessarily completely for the arts. So um, it was not such a long step, but it was definitely a different route to travel. But I would say, a combination of uncles and grandfather and my stepfather kind of helped me in that journey.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Now, what advice would you give someone out there who is looking into acting?
Well, I more than anything, you have to love it. I think that, it's it can be a hard road, but if you're doing it for the right reasons, and when I say the right reasons, you're doing it because you love to perform, not because you need people to look at you. I mean, inherently, as actors, etc., performers, we want an audience. We want somebody to perform too.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't always have to be that, but when you take on something, to take on a role, you want to say, "This is what I have to show you." And I think, by really loving what you do, loving the art and the craft of it, um, I would say fall in love with that, and everything else just kind of falls into place, and you're not having to reach for that result. The result being you're going to get an award for it, or the result being um, whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be a result. It's just because you love it and you're doing it because there's no other way. It's almost like breathing, right?
Right, right.
You have to do it, otherwise it's just going to lock you up inside. And I mean, that's what I would say as far as because it can be a very hard industry, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes unrelenting and unforgiving. And yeah, I mean, that's something that I would definitely say off the top. But I don't know. It's it can be so rewarding at the same time. I started off in theater, and so there's nothing else like being in a live theater where you're kind of feeling the emotions of the audience. The audience is kind of telling you and dictating where you're at, and you are not playing to the audience, but you are performing, and the audience is kind of directing the mood, so to speak. So it's a different experience if you go to the theater on a Friday night, a Saturday night, a Sunday matinee, it's all different, right? So the audience kind of is just like in a different mood, and it's all kind of, it's such an interactive experience. You know, it's very different than film or TV whenever I've been on set, you know.
Awesome. Great advice. Thanks for sharing that. Now, how was your experience being in Days of Our Lives?
Days of Our Lives, I didn't, well, I've done several soap operas. I've done Days of Our Lives, I've done Young and The Restless. Haven't done General Hospital yet. I've done Passions when it was a show a while back. And you know, it's moving so quickly. Soap opera is, you know, you're sometimes shooting 15 pages a day, 20 pages a day, and that's a lot. And so it's moving very, very quickly. So, you know, my job was very kind of quick, and you know, I mean, it was a great experience. It was fantastic, but it was just so quick. You couldn't really find the time to sit and relax and take it in, because you were in the moment and you had to keep going, you know. So
Absolutely.
yeah, but it was great. It was fantastic.
That's good. Now, if you weren't an actor, what would you be today?
Ooh, good question. Gosh, you know, I've thought about that. My degree, like I said, is in art, and with an emphasis in graphic design, and I do love graphic design. So I would say maybe something in the design world, or just artist, you know, just like a fine art artist, which I still do paint even to this day, and have that solely being my occupation. Although I am getting into woodworking quite a bit here recently, and so I love working with my hands, and I don't know. We'll see where that goes. We'll see if I end up being some kind of sculptor or wood designer or something. I don't know, but I'm enjoying the process of that.
Right. Now, speaking of you saying you love art, is there an artist that inspired you to love art?
An artist that inspires me, that has inspired me to love art. I mean, there are so many that, I mean, I could go down the line and talk about the Renaissance artists, you know, Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, and they did so much more than just art. I mean, they created, they paved the way for science and art, etc. You know, so I mean, I could go that route, and then I could also say, and they did so much for what they did. You could also say Pablo Picasso, who spanned decades and decades and decades, and his art was very popular for a long time. Gustav Klimt, you know, Van Gogh, another. He was completely eccentric and was not popular until he passed away, you know. So I mean,
Yeah.
there are all these great artists that I take. It's almost like, for me, in the sense, it's almost like a religion, where you kind of take what works for you, I guess. And with art, I think, you know, just like I appreciate like a Michelangelo, or a Monet, or a Van Gogh, or Andy Warhol, you know, totally different. Liechtenstein, you know, all these different artists. I take and appreciate something from each of them. So I wouldn't say there's any one that I solely have taken so much from, but yeah, I definitely am inspired by all of them for one reason or another, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of CSI New York, how was that like? Those shows are incredible. So what was your experience like being on them?
That was great. So I did CSI Miami. and I did CSI New York, and then I did CSI Vegas, and each one of them was fantastic because, like CSI Vegas, I worked with well, I died in that one, and my dead body was laying on a slab, and so there I was, laying there with a big like scar, that they created out of makeup and
Yeah,
everything. And Ted Danson comes in and he's looking at me and he's like, "Oh, handsome guy. Too bad what happened to you, you know?" And so
yeah,
that was just like, that was, I mean, here's Ted Danson, who I grew up watching, and he's a legend. As well as Elizabeth Shue, she was in that one. CSI New York was great, and I played a couple of small parts in each one of these. CSI New York was fantastic because I worked with I mean, my scene was with Gary Sinise, and so he is just intense. It's
hmm
when I met him, I walked up and I, I was being introduced to people, and they're like, "Hey, this is Gary." And I was like, "How you doing, Gary? Good to meet you." And he turned around, and then that was it. He was just so in character in the moment. So it was it's so inspiring to work with your you know to work with your heroes, work with people that you've looked up to, that you look up to. And so it just I don't know. Each one of those experiences was so special and unique.
right, absolutely. All right, everyone. At this time, we will be right back from commercial break.
We will be right back with Standing Strong. Let's chat with Waylon after this break.
Thank you so much for making it this far into the episode and for all the love and support. I'm able to have trustworthy communication with my guests and give them the opportunity to ask me questions.
Check out some incredible podcasts that Waylon suggests, and the links will be in the description box. Culture Shocked, a podcast based on gaming, movies, and TV shows. It's a one-of-a-kind podcast. Tyler's Takedowns, a wrestling podcast on the SJP World Media Network that discusses classic and modern day professional wrestling. God TV, an amazing podcast run by SoCal Val, Lisa Marie Varon, and Mickey James. WrestleManiacs with Waylon and Tyler, a weekly wrestling show regarding breaking down WWE news. Now, Waylon would like for you to check out some other amazing people, and their links will be in the description. Catherine Norland. She's an inspirational person who does Sunday lives on her YouTube channel and talks greatly about God our Father. Rainy Vacation, a small music group from northwestern Pennsylvania created by Sean and Nathan. Ox Films, a production company run by actor Richard Ryan. He's an amazing guy, and some of his hit movies were Art of Deception, Fortune 500 Man, and Natural Demise. Richard has been working hard and will be bringing out more, including new music of his own. Visit www.oxfilms.us and follow him on Instagram at RichardRyan7. Once again, Ox Films, check it out and watch the films on his website. Ace Hire, and a musician and content creator named Austin Sire. Austin does amazing content and music. He's a very talented person, and Waylon loves his work.
Follow the show on social media. On Facebook, Waylon Myers Podcast. On Instagram, Waylon Myers Podcast. On TikTok, Waylon Myers Podcast. and on YouTube, www.youtube.com/Waylon Myers. Thank you, Tyler, for being back on Standing Strong in a different way. And now back to the episode. All right, everyone, we are back from break. Adrian, what has been your experience like since being on my show?
It's fantastic. I love what you're doing here, and I think it's so, you know, I just think that it's great what you're doing and inspiring. And if there's one thing that I can give to people is just, in the same vein as to inspire others to reach for your dreams, to follow your passion, to reach for your goals and whatever they may be, even as outlandish as it may be, like being an actor, like being an artist, like being a podcaster, those are attainable. It's just, if you really want it, you got to go out and do it and do it. So I appreciate what you're doing in that regard. And so if it allows me to help you in that avenue, then I am happy to do so.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Now on to the next question. Out of all the popular shows that were mentioned in the introduction video earlier, which has been one that sticks out to you today?
Ooh, that's a good question too. I've done so many smaller roles to this date. I would say there's two experiences that really stick out in my head. One was when I worked on American Horror Story, and they were being very secretive about the scripts and everything, and so they weren't giving you a full script, which we would always have. Whenever you're hired on, you get a full script. You always get the pages as they come in, because they change sometimes daily. So you get all the updates, et cetera, and then whenever you get on set on the day, then you are ready to go. You have everything prepared, et cetera, except for not this show. Again, they were very secretive. But whenever I stepped in, I was playing a cop, and I stepped in, and I'm looking at a crime scene. So I'm playing a Boston PD. And I walk in, and I look up, and my character in the show gets a drop of blood dripped on my face. And I look up, and I see all these bodies, like, oh my God, and I see these bodies hanging, and I'm just like, and I'm taking it all in. And then they started squirming, and I was like, oh my, those are real people. And so it wasn't, they were like props or anything, or mannequins of any kind. They were real people hanging, from the rafters. And so that was just like, wow. And just the show itself was just, it was such a great experience. That one really stuck out, and just in, as far as how intense it was and secretive, and going on the set, and what you would normally have as props to then act and react off of, they were actually real people. So then it wasn't hard to react like, oh my God. That was one experience. The other one was Plain House, a show I did back in, oh gosh, I want to say 2014. I played this character. He was a stripper from Coconut Grove, Florida, and I had an accent and everything, and had long hair, and so my character goes to this spaghetti police event, basically. So the policemen are trying to raise money for the police, the police department, and so they host like a whole stripping show, and in the show, all their families, etc., come to the show to watch them and support them, etc., and one of the people hire me as a professional stripper to come in and show them how to do it, and then I go and just go crazy. It's a comedy, so I go and I just go crazy, and I come out and I start like just dancing really inappropriately at this, spaghetti dinner with all the wives and daughters and children, and they start throwing spaghetti at me, and I remember that day. It was so it was so fun and interesting because I had real spaghetti on me, and I'm like in character, just like rubbing it all over my chest, and my character was so outlandish, and nothing was out of the box for Antonio, my character, and he was so fun and such a joy to play because there was no wrong way, there was nothing that like I said, that was out of the box, and so that's another one that was a lot of fun and really sticks out.
Awesome. Now, is there an actor or actress who has inspired you today that you would like to act with?
Oh, gosh. I mean, the list goes on, honestly. I mean, I could start with Meryl Streep and De Niro and Bradley Cooper. Oh my goodness. Edward Norton. Now the names are gonna escape me, but Robert Downey Jr. There's just a lot of there's so many great ones out there that Tom Hardy, another one. I mean, again, the list goes on, and Marion Cotillard, another one. Just brilliant actors that, I mean, and that's why as actors we do what we do, because we want to, again, perform, but also to get better and just learn. And I feel like I'm a sponge whenever I'm on these different sets and different opportunities to act and react and play and live inside of another character. I mean, the list goes on, but those are definitely some of the top ones.
Incredible. Now, Dhar Mann Studios came a long way with longer episodes. You have played in a lot. Which one was your favorite to have filmed?
I have played in quite a few of them. And, it came at a time whenever it was the pandemic. And so obviously most of productions had shut down at that point. And we were kind of battling as far as like, where are we going to perform and all that. So
Right.
Dhar Mann came at a time where it was still being able to practice craft. It was still be able to act and get in there and get on set and just get all the juices going. And from when I started to I guess where I ended up, probably the last one that I did was one of my more favorite ones, and that was my daughter in the show was a wrestler, and that was a great one. It took a while actually because we were filming. We filmed over several days, and then something happened. I can't remember what happened, but it got delayed and postponed, and we had to push it back, and then we had to make it work where all the actors were available at the same time. And so it took about 2 months to finally come back and finish that episode. But when we did, it was really nice. And so I would say that was I can't remember the name of it, to be honest with you, but but it was one with my daughter in the show, and she she went on to win and beat her brother and my son, and
Right.
And so that was a good episode.
Awesome. Now, is there a Dhar Mann actor or actress that you would like to act with that you never had the chance to?
Not necessarily, because I think I kind of, in one way or another, acted with most of them. Um, because we were a revolving kind of family, but we all worked similarly on each of the same shows in one way or another.
Hmm.
Melvin Ward was he's a great actor, and we got the chance to be able to work together on a couple of episodes. I know I've worked with
Hmm.
him several days, and he was great. He's just oh no, it was two different episodes I think that we worked together on, and he's just a funny guy, and he's a very talented actor. So
Yeah, I had Melvin on Standing Strong 2 years ago. He is an
oh wow,
awesome person. Yep, yep.
yeah, he's great, and uh, you know he deserves everything that's coming to him, and he's a nice guy.
Absolutely, I agree. Now, have you been a victim of bullying at any point in your life, and how did you overcome it?
Yes, I was when I was in elementary. Again, I grew up in a small town in Texas and Deer Park, and I remember I was a latchkey kid, so I would walk to school and ride my bike to school and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, I believe I was in like fourth grade, third or fourth grade, something like that. And when I would walk to school, this bully, he was older than me, he would pick on me almost every day. Um, and it wasn't necessarily like, it was like pushing and hitting, but not like punching or anything like that. But it was enough to where it was obviously demeaning and
Hmm.
traumatizing, right? So,
Right.
and I remember one time he even got an oil pan, it wasn't really that hard. Again, it's just traumatizing, and he hit me like over the back with it,
Hmm.
and I can't remember if it was that day or a day thereafter. I just cold cocked him one. I beat the crap out of him, and and then it stopped.
Hmm.
And it's kind of like facing your bully, facing your demons, and I did, and resolved it. And I'm not saying that violence is the answer by any means, but standing up is, in whatever way that can be and should be for you. Find that. Again, violence doesn't necessarily have to be the answer, and more often than not, it's not. But for me, it was in that time and in that moment that I could think of nothing else, and
Absolutely.
and resolved it. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Great answer. Is there a message you would like to say or give to someone out there who is getting bullied, who is afraid that it will not get better? Is there a message you can give to let them know that it will be okay and that they will get through it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, oh, we all have friends, we all have parents, sisters, brothers, siblings. Somebody, somebody has to be out there that you should be able to speak to. If not, talk to the school counselor. Whoever there may be to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. Get it out. Don't keep it in here. Keep it in here bottled up. That leads to stress. Stress it's it can be such an enemy for you if you don't handle it. Um, and talk with somebody. Figure out resolutions on how you can overcome this bullying. Know that you're better than, because generally speaking, bullying comes from somebody bullying them, right?
Hmm.
So we don't know what's going on in their household.
Right.
Maybe their father is very hard on them, and we don't know. Um, Unfortunately, then it comes down on you, and it's just like, well, I don't want to be on that other side, but you know, I mean, one is to show a little compassion, but at the same time, it shouldn't come at the detriment of you being hurt. So
Mm-hmm.
talk to somebody, keep the line of communication open with somebody that has your back. And I would say start there, as far as just a specific message for somebody who's getting bullied, know your worth, and know that somebody out there has your back, somebody out there loves you, and whether it's a counselor, parent, sibling, just talk.
Amen. I love that. Now, it's sad seeing people down all the time due to mental health and struggles that they may face in life.
Yeah.
What words of encouragement do you give people out there?
Words of encouragement. I mean, I pray a lot, and I know that is, it's different for some people. For me, I pray, and I pray with my wife, and I pray with my daughter.
Right.
And that to me allows me to have an open communication, to call for help, because sometimes, I don't feel like anything that I do because of, our God, and He has helped me so much and overcome so many battles and demons, and I think we all kind of suffer, even a small part, whether it's depression or bipolar or whatever it may be. I think I probably have suffered through depression at some point. I am 4 years sober, and but before then, I definitely had a little too much wine at times, and realized that it was not a good thing. And I think sometimes people find something to latch onto, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whether it's smoking, you name it, shopping, whatever it might be. And sometimes it can lead to worse things. But as far as a specific message, that's a little harder one, because dealing with mental illness is such a strong subject matter to not get it wrong,
Right.
Yeah, I am. Gosh, that's got me a little stumped, to be honest with you. I want to see so much goodness and like you said, it's sad. It's sad whenever you see people suffering.
Right.
I know I've had family members that suffer, and you see it, and it's just like you want to do something for them. And all you can do is just say, I'm here for you, and try to be there as best as you can.
Absolutely. All right. Now, is there any inspirational quotes that sticks to you for being real to yourself?
Yes. Great question. Inspirational quote. I mean, honestly, I think the golden rule suffices. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And Philippians 4:13. I can do anything through Him who gives me strength. Those are two great quotes that I feel serve very much in my life.
Amen. Amen. I love that. Now, seeing where you are today, versus where you were before. Would you change anything in your career, or are you pretty satisfied with everything you have accomplished?
I'm pretty satisfied with everything that I accomplished. There might be, no, I'm pretty satisfied with everything that I've done. I've gone through quite a journey of playing different characters, that's for sure. And so I think the short answer to that is, yeah, I probably wouldn't change a thing.
Good. Awesome. Now, is there anything that you have not done in your life that you would like to do one day?
As far as acting?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have, my wife is also a great actress and fantastic director and producer, and a beautiful writer. She's already produced and written a couple films, horror films, and we're working on a couple right now. And so I can't necessarily talk too much about it. But there are a couple of projects that we have in the works that are just on my trajectory, on my list, that I have to do and will do. It might take a little time. And again, it can't necessarily be talked about right now, but it'll be coming very soon.
Awesome. All right, Adrian, at this time, I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask me some questions.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about yourself. I'm so curious because I love what you're doing here, and I think this is fantastic. And how did you come up with this?
Well, I was battling all my life over having a speech impediment. There was times I wanted to commit suicide, which thankfully I did not. I was always down on myself and belittle myself and think I would never accomplish anything in my life. So I was down on myself, and then eventually, after I graduated in high school back in 2011, I created a Team Lillian account on Twitter, Lillian Garcia from WWE, because I grew up watching her, and there was just something about her that I connected with. So I always loved her message that she gave to everyone out there, to always be yourself and trust that it's enough. So there was just something about that I clicked with. And then I finally got to meet Lillian Garcia in 2012 when they came to Pittsburgh. And then shortly after, I did a lot of social media graphics for Lillian. I helped her did social media thumbnails for her podcast, Chasing Golly. So while helping Lillian do that, I decided back in 2020 when the pandemic came, and I was like, I've never talked in front of anyone before because of my speech impediment. I always let that stop me. And I one day decided to go live on Instagram. So I went live on Instagram for about 2 hours. Lillian Garcia popped up and came on face to face with me, surprising me. So that really meant a lot. Even though there was comments coming through, I couldn't see the people. All I saw was the comments. So all I know was I was talking face to face with Lillian. So that's what I was focused on. So I wasn't even listening to the comments. I wasn't reading the comments. And I'm like, yeah, I was nervous, but for some reason I held it back while I was live. I didn't show my nervousness and stuff. When Lillian Garcia gone off and it was just me, and there was probably like 100 people who stayed on afterwards. And I was gonna shut my live down because I'm like, I'm gonna get mean comments. So I don't want to do this. But positivity was coming through, and I'm like, oh, hey, I'm gonna stay on for about 5 more minutes. So I got comfortable, and I talked to people, read comments and stuff. I even brought a couple of people on face-to-face with me, which that was like a huge nervousness to me. So after that, I decided to go live once a month on Instagram just to talk about wrestling, talk about inspirational stuff. And it was 2021. Then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a talk show because I want to let people know, no matter if you have a speech impediment like me, or you have any disability that stops you from doing what you love, just go with it. Try to be that person who can at least make a difference in just one person's life. So that's what I did. And I started Standing Strong back in July of 2011. And I did 7 episodes. I started with family and friends. That's all I did. I was losing this courage in myself because I was like, well, who am I going to interview next? Who am I going to talk with next? I don't have a guest that I can put out a new episode. So I was just discouraging myself. And then I messaged Lillian Garcia and was like, I don't think I could do this anymore because I'm like, I have to have an episode every week. I'm like, I have to have a guest to keep my show going. And her message to me was like, no, you don't. You do not have to have an episode every day. You don't have to have a guest every time. You could take a month off. You could take 2 weeks off. You don't have to upload a show every single week. It's your show. Don't let anyone put pressure on you that's saying you have to do this now. So she reminded me to always be myself and trust that it's enough. So I took a little break, and then I came back and I started Standing Strong. And then I added fitness expert, actors, and wrestlers and announcers to my podcast. So now I am now 57 episodes in.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's great.
Yep.
I am so proud of you. And, I don't say it in a, I am a dad, so it definitely might come across as very daddish, but, hey, honestly, what you're doing is we need more of, and you are paving the way, and pat yourself on the back, keep it going. I'd love to come back at some point later on and chat with you again. And, I think this is a fantastic a resource for people who are struggling as well, to see what you're doing, and have you show them the way, because this is great. And I'm just super honored to be here with you. And again, just so proud of you. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Is there any other questions that you would like to ask?
So you are in Pennsylvania, right?
Yes, I am. Yep.
Okay. And you're 3 hours. Okay. Well, man, I think that's about it. I mean, do you have any other questions?
What was your favorite TV show as a kid?
Oh, okay. As a kid, how old are we talking?
5, 6, 7.
Honestly, if we're going back that far, then I would say like either Tom and Jerry or Woody Woodpecker. Those were some of the ones that I would religiously watch. Yeah, I would say probably Tom and Jerry more so. Yeah.
Is there an actor or actress who has passed away that you will have loved to work with, but will not get the opportunity to do so?
Robin Williams.
Yeah. He was an inspirational person.
Oh my gosh, he was just, and his humanitarian efforts and his improbability, his comedy, his who he was. You know, he every time that he would be hired onto a production, he would always demand or have it put in like his contract, I believe, that they would hire in some way or another some of the homeless people in and around where they were. And so he was just such a great man. And there's so many accounts of him just doing great things and being a beautiful person. And we are, you know, he'll forever be missed. And I wish I would have been able to have the opportunity.
Absolutely. He would have been an awesome person to guest star on a Dhar Mann episode. So Yep. Is there any other questions you have for me?
No, Waylon, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for allowing me to spend this time getting to know you a little bit. And again, you know, if ever in the future you would like to chat again, I'm here, and I would love to do that.
All right. One last time, where can people find you on social media?
Yes. Okay. So on Instagram, you can find me at Adrian Quinonez 41. Working on a TikTok, so stay tuned, I guess. I'll try to work on that ASAP. And I am on Facebook. I don't know the exact what my name is on their handle, but if you look at my first and last name on there, you'll be able to find me.
All right. Well,
and
Adrian,
I got a new show on YouTube also. It's called Blended. So if you want to check that out, there's little clips coming out about a minute each, one every week for right now. Then we're going to be going back in and filming more. It's about blended families that come together and the chaos that ensues. And so, really funny show. And and hopefully y'all can check it out.
All right, thank you. Well, Adrian, I want to thank you so much for your time and being my 57th guest on Standing Strong.
Nice.
I hope you're enjoying Adrian's episode of Standing Strong. Until the 58th episode, I will catch you next time.
Awesome.